welcome back to Coffee Shots. And today we're going to look at a report that tells us that Ontario's public schools are a complete mess. And in my opinion, it's everyone's fault. And we're going to read why. So this is a National Post article. And this is a report talking about the support staff in schools, not teachers, but the early childhood educators, the youth workers, like people like that. So this headline says, "Punched, kicked, and sworn at. Ontario school staff report an epidemic of violence and harassment," says new report. So this is written by Jackie Miller, published November 8th. And so we have, and then I'm going to try to skim through this because it is a long article. And most of this is going to be my opinion, but we do need to kind of get the base of what this is about for context. So, the report from professors at the University of Ottawa found that 70% of the 3,854 education workers surveyed had experienced physical violence such as being hit, kicked, bitten, or struck by an object thrown at them. Good Lord. The study found that, so this is ridiculous. We've got kids assaulting their teachers and support staff. We have this is insane. When threats and attempts of violence are added, the number is even higher, with 89% of workers experiencing one of those things in their workplace in 2018 and 19. So this is pre-pandemic. And so we're finding that students are, as it says here, kicking and punching and biting their education workers. Now you might be thinking that this is all children with special needs. But as we'll see in a minute, the report actually does say that most of this is from kids who actually aren't diagnosed with anything. And these kids are actually taking away from the early childhood educators' ability to work with the people with special needs. These kids are kids that I guess aren't being told no at home. So we've got early childhood educators who are supposed to be there to support the teacher and work with children with special needs in the classroom. That's their job. And apparently now, according to this report, the administrators of their schools are telling them it is now their job to deal with bad behavior. Which, it's not, that is not the sole job. Like, it is some of their job, but it's not supposed to be the entirety of their job. But I do disagree with this article in the way that it's trying to pluck at the heartstrings, because we see this line: most of the respondents were women over age 40 with college diplomas who had worked in schools on average of 13 years. Of course it's women. That's the women tend to gravitate towards early childhood education. This is not a gender stereotype, like gender-based, bad thing. This is just what happens. While the majority of violence and threats reported in the survey were by students, 1 in 20 workers reported a parent threatening them with physical force. Wonderful. Wonderful. So we see the entitled parents right? We see the entitled kids who can't take no for an answer. And unfortunately nowadays a lot of parents seem to be of the mind that it's the teacher and the school's job to not only educate them but fix their behavioral issues, while their parents do absolutely nothing at home to fix the behavioral issues. So this is why I'm saying this is everyone's fault here. We've got parents not disciplining their kids at home, then they come to school and a teacher or an early childhood educator says, no, you can't do that. And they lose their shit because they've never heard, no, you can't do that before. And then they start physically assaulting the adult that tells them, no, they can't do that. And then, then we have the administration basically passing the buck off to the in-class ECE instead of, administering discipline and contacting the parents, and holding the parents accountable or bringing in appropriate authorities. It's a big pass off. This is everybody's fault. And then there are some things that are mentioned here, that some of them are a little bit soft, and you'll see why. The report lends credence to concerns among educators and parents about an increase of bad behavior among students, especially children in the early elementary grades, reported before the pandemic. Yes, because nobody's disciplining them. Nobody's disciplining them at home. And then the minute they try to get disciplined at school in the classroom, they freak out, and then they try to ask the staff in the classroom try to escalate it to the administration, and the administration tells them, oh, you need to control them. This is ridiculous. The incidents reported by workers were not simply the ineffectual tap of an annoyed youngster. The report states that educators say they had been kicked, hit, punched, slapped, choked, scratched, spat at, headbutted, kneed in the crotch, cut with scissors, hit with meter sticks, tripped, urinated on, had their hair pulled, and clothes torn. This is what happens when you let an entire generation of children do whatever the hell they want. And then you try to tell them, no, you can't do whatever the hell you want. I do not know what you guys expect. And I'm not saying that these people deserve it by any means. But I do not understand what parents expect, what teachers expect, what administrators expect, when everybody is passing the buck to everyone else. We do not live in The Simpsons. We are all not Homer. No, someone else cannot do it. Some reported significant injuries, including concussions, fractures, dislocated joints, back and head injuries, infections, and whiplash. Quote, I was attacked by a student, said one child and youth worker. Several punches to the head. I had a concussion, kidney trauma, a sprained ankle, major swelling, bruising, and bite marks on my leg. This is and like I said, yes, unfortunately, some of these incidences are going to be from students with severe special needs because of, in Doug Ford's infinite wisdom, he shut down quite a lot of specialized centers for children with, specific autistic issues. And they were forced to go into the public system. But not all of those incidents are from kids with diagnoses. Quite a lot of them, in fact, are not from kids with diagnoses. A lot of these incidents are just from kids who feel that they can do whatever the fuck they want because everybody in their life has told them in one way or another, either by word or action, that they are untouchable. And this is what happens. This is the cause of, everybody gets a prize. There are no losers. There's everybody's equal. This is the consequence. This is what happens. The incidents reported by workers were not simple. Oh, I apologize. This report keeps refreshing on me. Do pardon me. The rates of harassment and verbal abuse were also high. The survey found with 95% of respondents saying they had experienced it from one or more sources, including students, parents, colleagues, and administrators. Yeah, the public school system has been horrible for verbal crap for years. Very quick side story. I was dealing with a lot of issues in middle school with regards to verbal harassment by the students, and I went to the guidance counselor for help. And she told me that she had been listening to the talk about me in the halls. And the reason that everyone was treating me the way they were was because I was weird and that's why no one liked me, and I needed to fix that. And then, when I started to cry, she asked me why I was crying, as if, that was something that shouldn't make me upset, that a guidance counselor was saying. And then when I went to the principal after trying to unalive, shall we say, I was asked if I was sure I wasn't having my time of the month. So this goes back years. This ridiculous treatment and verbal crap between students, administration, ECEs, teacher, like everybody's guilty. And it's accumulating. This is what happens when emotional and verbal bullshit from everybody trickles down and is not addressed. It festers and it grows, and then it starts to get physical. And this is by no means saying that it's deserved, and absolutely I am not condoning this behavior at all. But this is what happens when nothing gets addressed for decades. This is the shit that happens. And then when parents at home stop actually disciplining their kids and deciding that the school is supposed to do that, it gets worse. The most common were insults, put-downs, and or obscene gestures from students, which were experienced by 70% of the respondents. And this is where I'm saying you guys need to toughen up. And when I say you guys, I mean education workers and stuff. If kids are giving you the finger or, calling you names and whatever, you're the adult, okay? You are the one who needs to put your foot down and tell them to stop. And the more you let that shit go, the more they're going to escalate. That's what happens. You should know this. You have degrees in early childhood education, which I'm pretty sure has a childhood psychology component. Educators report verbal abuse, mostly yelling and swearing from students, that include racist, sexist, homophobic, Islamophobic, and fatphobic language. X to doubt on that one. I'm sorry. The report contains most of the kids in the public school systems in my area are, if not from countries that have Islam as the main religion are friends with kids that are Islam or Islamic. So, like, yeah, no, I'm sorry, X to doubt on that. The report contained a warning, not usually seen in academic studies about schools. A word of caution: this summary report contains description of workplace violence that may be triggering. Oh, come on. Good Lord. One worker said a student called me ugly, using profanity and a variety of other aggressive, derogatory names, as well as a racial slur. He was in senior kindergarten with no official diagnosis. Okay, so, yeah, again, parenting fail, because where the hell is a 5-year-old? Senior kindergarten, that means he's 5, maybe 6. So where the hell is a 6-year-old, getting language like that, if not from at home or the playground? And, like, why are you putting up with it? Why are you curling into a ball and crying when a 6-year-old calls you names? You're the adult. Another description from an education assistant said they were spat at and called demeaning names, as well as having been hit, punched, kicked, screamed at, and having their life threatened. And not just one incident, but ongoing throughout every day. Their family was also demeaned and threatened, they said. And this is when you go to the administration. This is when you go to you're a mandated reporter. You're a mandated reporter. If there is behavior like this going on, you are mandated to go to Child Protective Services and go, this is what's going on in my classroom with this student. What you need to go figure out why they're behaving this way, because nothing else is going on here. Like, there are so many people dropping the ball here. Our schools are a mess between this report, between schools working on removing books from libraries and classrooms that are supposedly problematic. Like, our schools are a shit show right now. And as a parent, like, I quite frankly feel kind of helpless, because I will admit it, I do not have the patience to be a teacher. I would not be a good teacher. There's also the problem of, unless I get my kids, individual tablets or something that I can use a screen reader on to see what they're typing/writing, I can't tell if they've done their work. I can't, make sure they're working on their handwriting, and like, you feel very helpless when you know and are aware of what's going on in your child's schools, in the public school, and you're like, the only thing I can do is, when they're at home, is try to counteract what they're being taught. And the other weird thing is that I've noticed is, even in 2nd grade, my kid hasn't brought home any homework, like, even on the weekends. So I don't really know what they're being taught right now, and that's just very worrying to me. And it's like, all of this stuff it's not a fun feeling as a parent. And like I said, the state of our schools is kind of everyone's fault. It's the administration's fault for not administrating. It's the teachers and ECE's fault for not being the adults in the situation. It's the parents' fault for A, not disciplining at home, and B, just passing off the disciplinary buck to the school. It's it's society's fault for putting so much truck and just emphasis on how important it is that we listen to and consume without thinking and analyzing what we're taught in school, that it is everyone's fault. It's everyone's fault. And I'm sorry today's coffee stream was not as chipper as usual, but sometimes it's just the way it goes. Thank you everyone for watching. This is your coffee shot for Tuesday, November 9th. Please join Skep Talk and I tomorrow on the 10th for Wednesdays with Skep. I hope you guys have a fantastic day. Thank you for watching.